voting. There has been a steady deterioration of the standard practices and pronouncement of the political class which fights the election. Money power, muscle power, corrupt practice, and unfair means are being freely employed to win the elections. Over the years, several measures have been taken by the Parliament to amend the law relating to elections with a view to check the aforementioned forces. This report, which has been prepared after extensive consultation, is a step in the said process. It is hoped that Parliament take prompt action to give them legislative sanctions. In 1999, the Law Commission took note of the fact that the first past-the-post system prevailing in our country had given rise to several inequity and distortion in our electoral process, particularly on account of the multiplicity of the political parties. There are certain states in India where there are 3 or 4 recognized political parties, more or less evenly balanced. In such a situation, what is happening is that the winning candidate is receiving, in many cases, 30% or less valid vote cast. The remaining 70% or more votes cast in favor of the defeated candidates, including independents, are practically going waste without representation, without voice of the representative bodies, namely Parliament and the state legislature. The consideration that weighed in this behalf was that the first past-the-post system now in vogue is not yielding a correct picture of the voter preferences. It was thought advisable to provide a voice and a representation to the wasted votes, which indeed very often constituted a majority of the total vote cast. There is no commensurity between the total votes cast.
जल्दी करो.
So it's not possible. I've done a lot of work on this.
Yes.
So it's my bill and I want to present my case.
Okay.
How much time will it take, sir?
I don't know.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you.
Law Minister is allowing it. Yes.
He's encouraging the already.
He is already giving lot of information to Law Minister to consider all these things. Yes. Proceed.
He is trying to convince the Honorable Minister to accept his bill.
Yes.
सर मैंने बहुत मेहनत की है इस पे. मैंने मेरे को जो समय
and it is quite tempting. And I don't know, ultimately he may result in convincing me also.
To be more precise, what is happening is that a political party which has received, say, 32% of total votes in the country is obtaining 70% of the seat in Parliament, whereas another political party which has polled, say, 29% of votes, hardly 3% difference, is getting 25% of seat in Parliament. A swing of 2 or 3% vote is resulting in a huge difference in the number of seats won. There was yet another situation where a political party is polling a substantial chunk of votes cast in a given state in parliamentary elections, but is not able to get a single seat in the parliament from the state. The remedy, this is Commission recommended the alternative method of election. The other idea put forward is a concept of negative vote. In the opinion of the Law Commission, the idea of underlying objects are both laudable. Such an alternative method of election was suggested. So now, I would like to press my point as why a case for compulsory voting. The right to abstain for voting is not a fundamental right. In a democratic form of government such as ours, it's a duty of every citizen to vote. Voting is not only our right, in fact, it is our responsibility as a citizen, and we must fulfill this responsibility with seriousness. We are lucky to have a democracy in our country in which every adult has a right to cast vote. India being the biggest democracy in the world may gladden our heart but at the same time we are continuously becoming a weaker democracy with dwindling rate of voter turnout. The percentage of votes cast in general election of late is assembly low. Past experience has shown that the low voting area lose out in development index, high voting area benefit, they get more attention from politicians. Any electoral system will be credible only if it ensures maximum amount of participation. It can ensure justice and secure the right of politically disadvantaged by integrating dissent and interest and opinions. Secondly, and even more important, election should be used to unite our very divided society, which is progressively getting more divided. The health of democracy can be best be described as a mandate with representative character, not just numerically largest numbers. Compulsory voting will bring about an automatic shift in focus and significance issues will get the priority they deserve rather than parties and leaders. This will keep organized groups of hoodlums and non-deserving candidates at bay, as they will no longer be able to resort the verdict through rigging. Compulsory voting will put all citizens, regardless of class, gender, caste and religion, on an equal footing. The bill will turn Indian democracy into a vibrant one. Everyone is equal at one election day. We all have one vote, the richest and most powerful, the poorest and disadvantaged. Even without securing a tangible majority in, say, particular constituency, a person can get elected because of the first past the post principle, a faulty one at best. Interestingly, the term first past the post was coined as analogy to horse racing, where the winner of the race is the first to pass the particular point on the track. In this case, a plurality of votes, after which all the other numbers automatically and completely lose. There is no requirement for the winner to gain absolute majority of the vote. In a multi-member first past the post, the first candidate in order to highest vote to cross the line are declared elected. The catch lying in the fact that there is no preset post that the winning candidate must pass in order to win, as they are simply required to receive the largest number of votes in their favor. This sometimes results in the candidate actually being farthest from the post. Universally, the FPTP is more suited for countries with two-party systems like UK, USA, Canada, Australia, etc., since the overwhelming majority of the vote is appropriated by two candidates, thus throwing up a clear winner and not those that have a multi-party system like ours. The problem of FTPP, as we have seen from our own experience, is that by its very nature of the FPTP leads to a divisive agenda, narrow casteist and communal political appeal, and the fragmentation of the society. In a multi-party, multi-member society, it divides the candidate, parties and society alike. In the first past the post system, seats in the parliament are not proportionate to the percentage of votes that a party gains, thus leaving out the vast majority of votes unrepresentative in governance. Majority is understood to be the one who gets more number of votes than other contestants, instead of being required to garner more than 50% of the total vote. The percentage of votes that a party gets is not the same as the percentage of seats it gets in the FPTP system. Parties with less percentage of votes can gain more number of seats, and parties with more percentage of votes can get less number of seats. This is a symbolical representation, does not give a true reflection of the voter's choice. Compulsory voting system generates that the government represents the will of the majority of the population, not only individuals who vote. This helps ensure that the governments do not neglect sections of societies that are less active politically and victorious.
I want to try to be brief, because gives others also are waiting, they want to speak. Briefly, try to.
So what can I do, sir?
Briefly you say that it continue that.
So much material is not going to go today.
They want to speak, that is why.
Sir, when we, sir, it may be a private member bill.
Yes, yes.
But
Yes.
what is the subject? It's a very important subject, and if you can, please accept my request and increase the time, please.
Yes, yes,
It's very important.
But
So मेरा कोई भी
very important, that is why you have taken so much pain to prepare
So
and
मेरा कोई भी-
present it. I appreciate it, but try to be somewhat brief and
और कोई भी चीज irrelevant नहीं है.
it's not, I am not saying
I
irrelevant.
don't like-
Time, only I am considering only a time factor, that is all. I am not telling it's relevant. It's relevant, I accept. Thank you.
Decisions made by democratically elected governments are more legitimate when higher proportions of the population participate. When we, as a citizens of our country, miss no occasion to emphasize the privilege and the importance of our fundamental rights, as we are really worried about our future and the future of our country. If we are, then all of us must fulfill our fundamental responsibilities to cast our vote. In fact, voting should be incorporated as a fundamental duty. Voting is the strongest weapon in our hands, with the help of which we can solve our problems and can bring a great revolution in the country without a drop of blood being shed. The voter must vote without getting affected by the factors like caste or religion. Robust voting will focus our attention on factors like the government's stand on national security, terrorism, poverty, unemployment, literacy and other important issues. Another potential argument is that it will make the people think about the tough issues facing the nation more seriously. This is in turn might take governments less defensive in bringing up tough and possible unpopular issues that need to be addressed in the larger interest of the nation. Sir, thank you. The fundamental rights and fundamental duties of Indian citizen. Constitutional guarantee of the human right of the people of India were one of the persistent demand of our leaders throughout the freedom struggle. And while framing fundamental rights, chapter and Constituent Assembly of India substantially relied on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948. Article 21 of this very UDHR lays out the right to people to participate in the government and enjoy universal suffrage and envisages that people shall be the basis of authority of government. This shall be expressed in periodic and genuine elections, which shall be by universal and equal suffrage and shall be held by secret vote or by equivalent free voting procedures. The Constitution of India clearly defines the responsibility of Indian citizens, their fundamental rights and duties. Part 2 of the Indian Constitution covers the clause of citizenship. Fundamental rights are covered in Part 3 of the Constitution, while fundamental duties are written in Article 51A. The Constitution, in a way, makes the citizen aware of their core heart and responsibility through the articles dealing with the fundamental rights and duties. The inclusion of fundamental duties in our Constitution also brings it in line with Article 21A of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which says everyone has the duty to the community in which alone the free and full development of the personally is responsible. Exercise the fundamental right entails duty of the community, which ensures the free and full development of the human personality. Fundamental duties of citizens serve a useful purpose. In particular, no democratic polity can ever succeed where the citizens are not willing to be active participant in the process of the governance in assuming responsibility and discharging citizenship duties and coming forward to give their best to the country. Some of the fundamental duties enlisted in Article 51A have been incorporated in separate laws. The most important task before us to reconcile the claims of the individual citizen and those of the civic society. To achieve this, it is important to orient an individual citizen to be conscious of his social and citizenship responsibility, and so shape the society that we all become solicitous and considerate of his inalienable rights of our fellow citizens. Therefore, awareness of our citizenship duties as important as awareness